What up, guys, and welcome to the breakdown of HDRO Finance, one of the hottest upcoming releases happening on the Injective Chain. And in this video, I'm going to go over exactly what you need to know about this release as well as protocol. And without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, what exactly is HDRO Finance? Well, guys, HDRO Finance is unlocking the power of yield through a liquid staking protocol that also has LSD-Fi, or liquid staking finance. And what you can do is you can go on the site, deposit your various liquidities such as Injective, and in exchange you get a synthetic version called Injective. Now this Injective, you can already go to their liquid staking tab and get around that 15% APR and not actually have to lock up your tokens. At any point in time you can trade your Injective back to Injective, but a lot of times that Injective actually ends up being worth a little bit less simply because it takes 24 days to unbind that Injective back to Injective if it did in fact lose that peg. So a lot of times these different synthetic versions are worth a little bit less than what Injective is currently at. The APRs are usually pretty similar to staking to a regular validator, but sometimes you'll miss out on various airdrops. We have seen recently though that they have been giving airdrops to liquid staking protocols, so we can assume there is a good chance that some of the protocols will still do the airdrop. Now I had brought up HDRO Finance's farming or their early access farming program pretty early, and it's actually still going on, but about 2 times less points. And during this time and still right now, you can actually deposit Injective, get the Injective, and then farm with it in order to get their points. And their points are going to be exchangeable 1-for-1 with their actual HDR token, which is about to release this week. As I said, you can still do this, but the amount of points that you're getting is about half as much as what it previously was. So the rewards or the APR are less. They also have this auto compound feature where you can simply take your Injective and you can stake it into this, and then it'll auto compound those rewards and give you a much higher APR rather than you needing to constantly claim and redelegate these rewards. On top of having the liquid staking, they're also going to add swaps onto their site as well as pools and governance. And then the big thing that they're adding is going to be their real yield assets, which are going to leverage real world assets into a sort of ETF like structure where now you can get exposure to a lot of tokenized real world assets and be able to get a yield on those different types of vaults. HDRO Finance is going to be doing something very similar, but the main premise of this platform is for you to take your Injective, get Injective, and then use that Injective to generate you more yield, whether that's compounding the stake, whether that's farming, whether that's adding it to pools, or whether that's depositing into these different vaults, which are going to track real world assets. Over the past week, HDRO Protocol finally announced not only their airdrop, but they also announced their public sale, which is going live in about 5 hours at the time of this recording. Now they're taking 5% of their supply, which is 50 million tokens, out of their 1 billion total token supply, and they're giving 0.5% of that total supply, or about 5 million tokens, into the Moon app allocation, and then the rest of it is going to go towards the Mito allocation. They also announced their airdrop details, and if you were staking Injective before January 4th or January 5th, there's going to be 5 different tiers depending on the amount of Injective you staked, and you're going to be able to get one of these airdrops. They're also doing an airdrop to people that were using the Injective testnet. And then the final note is anyone that was doing the early access farming is actually going to be able to claim the tokens right away, supposedly, with the different airdrops actually happening on a later date that isn't confirmed as of now. Now, this was based on the chats that I had on their Discord. Things can change, but it looks like we're going to have the public sale as well as the early access farming allocation right away. And then those 2 different airdrops are going to happen a little bit later. And then they're also saying there's going to be an additional airdrop for people that are continuing to farm on their early access farming over the course of the next year. When it comes to the HDRO Finance launch, what's going to happen, guys, is there's going to be a subscription period of 1 week where you're going to be able to send in Injective. You're going to need to be staking at least 10 Injective to any validator to actually participate in this sale, but for every wallet that you have staking 10 Injective, you're going to be able to send upwards of 500 Injective to the sale. Now they're raising a total of $4.5 million, and I expect this to be very over allocated, and as it gets over allocated, it's going to be a pro rata type system, very similar to Dojo Swap, where if there's 10x the amount of money sent in, let's say $45 million, then you're only going to get 10% of your overall allocation. And because this is open for a week and has a lot of hype behind it, I expect this to be one of those releases that are heavily oversubscribed. If you haven't been staking that 10 Injective yet, I still think that you have time to do this if you were able to watch this video right away way. So turn your notifications on if you did in fact miss this. Or during the sale, supposedly you're going to be able to stake 10 Injective as well and still be able to participate. But that isn't necessarily confirmed. And I've been hearing some countering thoughts in the Discord chats and different things I've been paying attention to. So yeah, maybe try if you can, or like see in their chat during the sale if you can. They're also doing 0.5% or 5 million of their tokens on Moon App, which is a whole entire launch pad on Injective. I don't know how the actual sale details work for this, because when I went to go to KYC, which you do need to KYC, they said you're not allowed to be a US, Canada, New Zealand, or China resident. Because I am a US citizen, I'm not actually able to KYC for this, but supposedly it's a first come, first serve drop. And this is probably going to be a really great opportunity for people that are able to do this first come, first serve. Will you need their Moon App token? I have no idea. I would think you would, but once again, I actually went on their site and I wasn't really able to find their details in their whole entire sale information page. Now, I did briefly want to go over their tokenomics, even though the tokenomics are revised and this isn't actually accurate anymore on their white paper. We know this isn't accurate because they are beefing up their overall airdrop allocation. And I think that's because they probably talked to the Injective team, and Injective was probably like, hey, can you give an airdrop to all these different validators? Maybe we'll make some sort of deal with you. That's what I personally think happened. So now we know that this 2% Genesis incentives is actually going to be a higher amount, at least 2x of where it's at. This 5% public sale is still the same. I believe the investors in the team are also the same as well. I don't really know where the allocation was taken from in order to have a larger airdrop here. Most likely it was taken from the treasury in order to give that extra 2 or 3% that they're doing with it. Now, I don't know what the actual circulating supply is going to be, but based on what I was seeing in their Discord, they're assuming that it's going to be anywhere from 5 to 10% of their supply, and most likely it's going to be 6%. The reason is this public sale of 5% actually makes up the liquidity when it comes to the public sale as well, and then the early access farming is a little under 1%. So I personally think it's going to be around 6% of the actual supply going to be circulating right away, and then those different airdrops are probably going to add anywhere from 2 to 4% whenever they do them. But once again, we don't know when they're actually going to do them. I don't believe it's right away. I think only the early access farming is right away, and then those separate airdrops are going to be a little bit later. This means though that if they have a 5 to 10% of their circulating supply at 0.1 US dollar per token, it means the circulating market cap is going to be anywhere from $5 to $10 million, and the FDV for this sale is going to be around $100 million. Overall, I'm pretty excited for HDRO. I've been messing around with this protocol ever since it came out with the early access farming. I even messed around with their testnet and made multiple videos covering this platform already. I'm excited for this upcoming release for the Injective ecosystem. Now, if you want my personal play and what I'm doing and what I'm expecting and my personal strategy, then go into the description of this YouTube video, join our Discord, open up a support ticket, and ask for a trial pass. And then with that trial pass, you'll get a better idea of how I'm actually making this play with the HDRO Finance and what my personal price predictions are. But yeah, guys, that wraps up the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all in the next one.